Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for April of 2021. For you, Sagittarius, this month's themes are focusing on work life and the details of that and the systems there. That can be really well addressed in a mission orders reading. You could find a link for that in the YouTube description below. Well, Jupiter is moving along through Aquarius this year, bringing growth and expansion, confidence and joy to the area of your chart that has Aquarius in it. So let's see, where is that? Well, that is most likely in your third house. However, if you have late Sagittarius rising, then it might be your second house. So I'll say a little bit about each. When Jupiter is passing along through your third house is a great time for communication of all kinds, but particularly for writing projects. You will find also learning and study. So you might want to focus on that this year. It could be really, really good. It could go really well. If there's anything you need to learn, this year is the time to do it. Now, if you do have late Sagittarius rising, then Jupiter might actually be in your second house right now. And that would be terrific because that is the house of money. And therefore, this is a money luck period. Knowing exactly where Jupiter is can enable you to, ask for that raise in exactly the right timing so that it's more likely to come to you, or keep your eyes open for opportunities to bring money towards yourself. And you can find out the details of exactly when Jupiter is in the house and which house it's in and how to optimize that in a reading, obviously. You can also find out more about Jupiter in Aquarius in our video about that on our 2021 news playlist on our YouTube channel, Pandora Astrology. So, Julia, I know you've got some news for the Sagittarians of the world about Mercury, Venus, and Mars.
Oh, I do. Well, hi there, Sagittarius. I'll start with Mercury. That's the planet of communication, also the planet of mentation. And very early in the month, on April 3rd, it's going into your fifth house. This is the house of games, and Mercury, as a little trickster archetype, really enjoys game playing. And it's also the house of children. And wherever we have Mercury is where we could be expending a lot of our mental energy, as well as where we find there may be increases of communication. So you might be interested in more sort of mental stimulation during this cycle, especially through games and fun like creativity. If you are a creative type, this could be a great time for just writing fiction or getting your words out there. And, Mercury likes sort of more mental games like Scrabble, like video games, just playing board games with your kids too. And then Mercury's moving pretty fast this month. So on April 19th, it's going to go into your sixth house. This is the house of work, also the house of organization. So this is a wonderful time to actually get a good, get going on your spring cleaning. It's still early enough in April, I think, to call it spring cleaning. It definitely is. Since Mercury has a natural fit for this house and through its association with Virgo, which is all about order and analysis. And if you do any sort of Mercury related functions in your work environment, Mercury at work is anything that has to do with teaching, writing, speaking, also involved with Mercury also rules buying and selling. So if you do that too in your job, then this can be a productive period as well. Then Venus, the planet of art, beauty, and relationships, begins the month in your fifth house. This is also the house of dating too. So this is a really, really wonderful time to get out there for all the single Sages. And if you have any children, then this can be a very sort of harmonious and pleasurable time during this cycle too. Then about mid-month on April 14th, Venus is going to move into your sixth house. So again, this is a work house, and you might be sort of enjoying how you're getting along with the people that you work with. That could be customers, that could be clients, your boss, your coworkers, etc. Venus tends to bring harmony wherever she goes, so your work environment might be a source of pleasure now. Then Mars, the planet of action and activity, starts the month in Gemini, which is your seventh house of partnership. So this can be kind of a conflict-prone time with your partner, whether you have a business partner or a romantic partner. However, a higher use of this transit would be expending a lot of energy with a partner, maybe getting together if you have a business partner and really just working hard together, or maybe you and your partner take on a lot of home projects together. And that could definitely sort of mitigate some of the harsher parts of Mars in the 7th. Then on April 23rd, Mars is going to move into your 8th house of other people's money. This is the money that you share with your partner, with your family, or with institutions like through mortgages, investments, inheritances, taxes. And man, we're in tax season now, so you want to get all your little ducks in a row early on if you can in this season. Mars tends to bring a little conflict wherever it goes, so you might run into some conflicts with the people closest to you over money. And the 8th house is a house of research and investigation too. So another great way of using this cycle is to see how much you can dig down into some research, or maybe investigate some matter in your professional or your personal life, because Mars will give you the boost to do it.
Love that. So what Julia is saying here is that many of the planets begin the month in Aries, occupying your 5th house and bringing that emphasis to, fun, pleasure, play, creation, recreation, procreation, relationships just for the fun of it, light, fun relationships, also creative process and product, including children. And then as the month goes on, we see those planets moving into the 6th house, bringing the emphasis to work, health, service, personal organization, details, and systems. So that sort of movement is also reflected in the moons this month. There's a new moon in Aries that happens on the 11th. That falls in your 5th house, and we're calling this one assertive but also relatable because of its emphasis on fire. It involves the sign of Aries, and there's an emphasis on Mars as well. Mars has a great connection with that moon, and there are a lot of like relating themes and diplomacy themes, but also laced through and through with lots of assertion. So, if you do enjoy games and fun, you might be finding that you're playing a stronger game than usual, but you're also maybe staying away from the nasty table talk too. So later in the month, we have the 2nd moon, which happens on April 26th, and that's a full moon in Scorpio. And that happens in your 12th house with the moon there opposite the sun in Taurus, hanging out with Uranus here in your 6th house. And so that's after the seasonal shift into Taurus. So that moon, we're calling it focused obsession, balanced with calm objectivity. The focused obsession is because of the moon in Scorpio, which has a lot of passion and has focus added to it by the presence of Vesta here in a harmonious connection, but also all of the drive of Mars pouring into that moon. But that moon is going to be giving you solace in solitude. You may find that you want to just go crawl into your own little hole and focus on your obsessions there. Meanwhile, the sun in Uranus may pull you out of that hole periodically to do some tidying around the house or some reorganization of systems. So there's some dynamic tension going on there. So there is a seasonal shift when the sun moves into Taurus, and that's going to happen on April 19th. So here's the sun back in the end of Aries right there, and boom, it moves into Taurus, bringing that emphasis into your 6th house of, work and systems and being organized on the job. It's the season of flowers and beautiful smells when the sun moves into Taurus. It's a season of sensuality, and it brings us into our bodies. And you like to get very physical about how you organize things. So it might even be pleasurable to do some of that during Taurus season. Well, I want to show you that Pluto is going to turn retrograde this month, which happens on the 27th. And just watch that little Pluto, and you're going to notice that, boom, there's the tiny little retrograde RX symbol that means that Pluto is going retrograde. And that's a kind of a big deal because I've been saying for a couple of months that this spring is really the best time to begin projects that can last all year. And that as the spring and we get into the summer and the fall comes on, we're going to find increasingly that projects we begin become filled with obstacles. And this is the beginning of that process. So if you have a Pluto transit going on this year, you're going to feel Pluto turn retrograde. It's going to feel like, wow, I'm kind of going into a meltdown and I feel like I want to cocoon myself. And I feel like maybe I'm going into some kind of major transformation, or some area of my life is metamorphosing into something different, perhaps something that I wouldn't even recognize once the transformation is complete. And you would definitely be feeling that way if you have anything in your chart at all between, my notes say, 24 and 26 degrees of any cardinal sign, which is Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, and Libra. And if you do have something like that and you are feeling that way, then a reading with Julia or me can help to explain it, can lay it all out in time, and let you know when it's going to end and give you best strategies for coping with it too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We certainly enjoyed making it for you. And if you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Our YouTube channel is Pandora Astrology, where you can find the news of the month and also the horoscopes of the month, aggregated into news lists for your viewing pleasure. You can also find all that good stuff on our website, pandoraastrology.com, where you can get a reading or join a class. And until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos. Bye.
Bye-bye.